So is it possible to achieve 8 months progress in 8 weeks? Well, we definitely think it is, and I'm going to take you through 3 deciding factors that are going to change the process for you and help you achieve more in 8 weeks than you did in the last 8 months. Okay, so welcome to show 451. Okay, 451. We're now on the countdown to 500 shows, which is really great. If you haven't already, please make sure you've registered for our 3-day online experience, which is free, by the way. Awaken Your Potential. The link is in the bio or the description or wherever you're watching this from. We've added a ton of goodies, 5 of my most impactful online programs, a copy of my book, PDF version, loads of other good stuff as well. Being part of the Elite Brotherhood community, our membership, up until the 21st of September, once the event's finished. Get yourself in there. All right, let's crack on. Welcome to the Rise to Thrive show. I am your host, James Boardman, and if you are coming through, then please do let me know. Okay, forgot what the name of the show was there for a minute. So how do we make 8 months worth of progress in 8 weeks? Now, if you're being honest with yourself, depending on who you are, depending on what you've been doing over the last 8 months, if you look back at the 8 months, if you're being brutally honest with yourself, could you have done a lot more with that time? Okay, so in the comments, what I want you to tell me is, in the last 8 months, could you have done more with your time, your energy, and your focus? Could you have achieved more in your health? Could you have accomplished more in a certain discipline, whether it was running or jiu-jitsu or in the gym or something else, rowing, whatever? Could you have done more to self-educate yourself, study more, learn more about time management, learn more something professionally? Okay. Could you have done more to elevate your marriage? Okay, that's a tough one. Could you have done more to be more of a superhero to your kids? Could you have done more in your career to get a little bit further with it, to feel that actually you pushed your career or you pushed your business more? And I'm sure the answer is probably yes. No doubt. If I lived with you for 8 months and I just followed you everywhere without saying a word, do you think I would have turned around and said you could have done a lot more? That's the way I always judge it. Always look at your mentor, always look at somebody that you value in that respect and say, if they were living with me right now and they were watching me, would they think that I've done enough? So straight away, the first thing to understand is that probably in the last 8 months, you probably haven't been as productive as you probably would like to have been. Maybe not as planned, maybe not as focused, maybe not as directed as you probably would have liked to have been, right? So do we look at that as wasted opportunity or wasted time? I don't think we do, because I think we're always learning. Always, always, always learning. So what we could learn, if we take action on it, is in the last 8 months, what could we take away? We could take away the fact that, man, maybe the next 8 months I don't want to waste. Maybe the next 8 months I want to reach a level in my life where I really feel like I'm at the very top of my game. And I think that you can start that process, okay, you can start that process by saying, I'm going to achieve more in the next 8 weeks than I can in the last 8 months. That then sets you on this momentum spiral that elevates you over the next 8 months. And there are 3 key factors that you need to make sure that you do that. You can't just go, I'm on it for 8 weeks, because all that is hype. All right, there are 3 things that we need, and then, in a particular order. First one is making sure that you have education, okay? Anybody that says they're going to transform the way that they live their life, anyone that says they want to elevate the career or the business, anyone that wants to say, I want to be fitter, I want to lose weight, I want to look good, or I want a better marriage, or I want better, I want better kids, or I want to be closer to my kids, and I want a better relationship with them, okay? The problem is, for the majority of you watching, the last time you educate yourself was at college or university. Since then, how much time, effort and energy have you put in to learning how to do that? Because all you rely on is this adrenaline emotion to say, yeah, I'm on it, I'm going to transform my life, this is what I'm going to do. How are you going to do it? What's going to be different over the next 8 weeks from the last 8 months? So I could tell you people that watch this, who are in my brotherhood, are educating themselves. There is hours and hours and hours and hours of courses. There's a brand new Elite Movement blueprint that we just put out for the guys to follow, which is 10 frameworks, 10 different courses to help them elevate themselves, so they're educating themselves. You educate yourself by being more aware, by doing accountability, by having that element of understanding yourself and how you show up and what actions you're taking and why you're taking and what those triggers are and what the consequences are, so that we don't do them again, right? So we're constantly educating yourself. But if you're not, like, what you've got to think about is, like, how am I getting better here? How am I fueling my brain and my emotions and my mental state to make sure that I'm on top of my game, right? So the next one is community. It's community. So let's think about how much progress you're making by yourself. And if you're being honest, you're probably at about 60 to 70% at your potential doing it by yourself, because there's no one to hold you accountable. There's no one to inspire you when you're down on motivation. There's no one to talk to. There's no one to fall back on. There's no one to pick you up. And most people try to do this themselves, and it's a very painful process. Very painful process. I've been there myself, done that myself, done it especially within business. And I'm trying to figure it all out. And at some point, you've got to get to a stage where being part of a community, being part of something much bigger than just yourself, is one of the key fundamentals. And I've been doing this business a long time, and I've seen lads who have come and go, and the lads that have gone have missed that community and have taken for granted their community and what it brings to them. Okay? Many is much stronger than one. Okay? Many is much stronger than one. And if you're having a bad day, if you're struggling to know how to pursue or break through, if you're struggling with momentum, if you're struggling with inspiration, being around a community of like-minded guys, man, it's going to change the game for you. Okay? So we've got education and we've got community. Now the last one I think is the most important, because it makes the difference between somebody that believes in themselves, okay, and somebody who will go through that cycle unsure whether they believe themselves. So the last one is accountability / mentorship. Okay. Without accountability and mentorship, most people will take the easy option. Simply, I mean, that's just the way it goes. Most people will take the easy option. When you've got someone there instilling, feeding belief into you, like over and over and again, you are good enough, you can do this, you've got to overcome the fear, stop procrastinating, let's get on with it, let's get to work. All these little micro 1% accountability things that are going on in your head, constantly flowing through into you, it just naturally becomes your new belief system. When you are there by yourself and you're constantly saying, oh, I'm not good enough to start a business, or I'm not good enough to change my job, or I'm not good enough to run a marathon, or I'm not good enough for my wife and my kids, that's the narrative that you always just keep listening to over and over again. That's your story. But then when you have accountability, is that really your story? Is that really what you're going to go with? Is that really how you're going to spend the next 30 to 40 years? Is that really how we're going to see out the rest of your life? Is that really going to be your legacy for your kid? So somebody challenging you, somebody always questioning you, is always making you think differently. So then what these three things allow you to do in 8 weeks is that, man, you have a blueprint, so a direction, boom, 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 direction, direction, direction. I'm educating myself. 2, I've got community around me. Man, there's people around me. There's people that lift me up. Okay? People lift me up. There's people I can get inspired of. And then accountability. I've got a guy who's challenging me every single time. Why aren't you doing this? Why aren't you doing that? Why aren't you doing this? And then all of a sudden you have 3 key ingredients that elevate your potential to a place you've never been. And in 8 weeks you suddenly go, oh God, I've done all this in 8 weeks. What have I been doing with my life? And it's not until you have that epiphany, that mindset, that aha moment that you suddenly go, what have I been doing with my life? Why am I waiting another year before I think about starting a business? Why am I waiting another year before I start running a marathon? Why am I waiting another year before I do something else? Why am I procrastinating all of the time? I challenge myself with the same questions. Why am I waiting? Why am I waiting? Why aren't you doing? And we are doing. And I've changed that, and I challenged myself on holiday in August, and I come back and went, let's go. And in the last, I think I've been back 3 weeks, I've probably done an extra 30 hours worth of work, more than I normally would, because I want to elevate my business and career. And I feel like when I look back, I'm going, what have I been doing over the last 2 years? And then my number 2 made a good point. He goes, you've been learning. Learning. Now I've done the learning. Now I just want to get on with it. I want to fail more. I want to fail faster. I want lots of failures. I want to fail so much this year that next year I'm set up to win. And that's what you've got to learn to do. And that's the difference between, like, chugging along in life with an average mentality, happy with mediocre standards. You just chug along. And the difference between an elite mentality and an elite approach to life, where you just go, I'm going to get out there and I'm going to fail. I'm going to fail real bad. I'm going to fail as much as I can, because the more I fail, the more I learn, the more I can apply that learning, the quicker I can grow. And those 1% wins, they come along. One. If I can get back 10 1% wins in a day, man, I'm winning. All in. Reaching the potential over and over again. All right? I hope that helps. Keeps you in the right frame of mind. Gets you in the right frame of mind. Do something with it. Don't just sit here and go, great show. Do something with it. It's no good in just listening here and just not actioning, right? Because you get nowhere. You're going to waste another 8 months. All right? If you want to come and join us in the Awaken Your Potential program, and you want to see what potential looks like, come and join us.